Hello everybody, it's me John, and you joined me for another video. I just want to warn you, because at the moment I think I'm coming down with a cold. So I'm sniffling a little bit at the moment. My nose is getting a bit bunged up. Usually the sign of me coming down with something, and usually strangely. This is completely irrelevant to the topic at chance, but whatever. But whenever I don't feel, I do not suffer from the cold at all. You know, I've been known to go out in -6, -7 with no coat on. It just doesn't bother me. But basically, literally, whenever I feel for the very first time that my feet are cold, my soles of my feet, whenever I feel cold on my feet, that usually is a sign for me that I'm going to be getting a cold. Strange. But anyway, just thought to give you a bit of insight there. But anyway, so moving on to the point and topic. Transformers Combiner Wars, the Prime Wars Part 1, whatever you want to call it. The Machinima series, web series. Now, basically, I wasn't going to do this video, but I felt I kind of had to finish what I started in a way. Because I have a tendency of starting something and not finishing it, so I'm damned I am going to finish it. Now, I was going to do an episode-by-episode review of thoughts. That's what it started out as. I think I only did the first 2 or 3 episodes, I'm not sure. But anyway, so I'm doing the rest of the series, and I'm just going to talk about it from episode 1 right through to the end, and just finish it all off. So, this could be a long ride, so get yourself a cup of tea, get yourself some biscuits, get yourself your tea, your burger or chips, whatever you're eating at this moment in time, sit down in front of me, and let's begin. Good. So, also, there will be spoilers in this one, because the series has just wrapped, yes, but the earlier episodes and so on have been out for weeks and weeks, almost a month nearly. So, if you still don't want to get spoiled, if you've not actually watched it, don't watch past this point. So, let's go. Combiner Wars, Prime Wars, Machinima series, web series. It was crap. Let's be honest with ourselves, alright? It was shit. I like to give things like this a benefit of the doubt. Alright, it's a web series. It's been made. I mean, Machinima. Don't get me wrong. They do produce some good stuff. They do produce some good web series and stuff like that. They do a good job, Machinima. But when it comes to this, I mean, I don't know how close they were to Hasbro. I don't know if Hasbro were kind of, yanking the chain, saying, no, you will not do that, you will do what I say, no, that big overbearing twat in the background that looks over everything that's happening. I'm not sure if that might have been a case of this series. I could be wrong. Yeah, so I don't know if that was possibly an idea. I don't know if Hasbro did have quite a big hand in this, where they kind of changed things around and poor Machinima just had to go with their decisions. And I think that's why the series kind of didn't work. Or it could be another way. Machinima, the ADR director behind the series, maybe, don't get me wrong, he might be a good director that directed the actors, but I'm not sure if the ADR director did a good adaptation with the actors to the story that was before them, but I don't know. It's all up in the air, we don't know, but they're my 2 thoughts of maybe why the series didn't work. The problem is as well, I thought, is that the episodes are only 5 to 6 minutes each, give or take. And that isn't good enough. You cannot develop a story, character development, and so on. All the very, very major things that go into any sort of story, book, TV series, anything. All those really major things, story, characters, the whole point of what's going on, you cannot depict all that in just 6 minutes. It is ridiculous. You have to have a minimum of 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes to really, per episode, to kind of get the gist, character, story, and so on. You don't need a full half hour. You can have 15 to 20 minutes, and you could get you can start the character development process early on, and then start the story as it progresses. But this series kind of, as if it kind of just like hit the road running. You know, it kind of like, everything was, what I saw from this is like, it was like, throw you at the deep end, big fight between Copytron and Menasor, they rip each other apart, and then Windblade comes, completely destroys Menasor, which is like, what? And then Menasor dies, and Computron dies, and then that's where it all starts. That's real good development. That's really good character development. And then, give or take, the first 2 episodes for me, I think, are the better episodes, because episode 1 is okay. Episode 2 is an improvement over the first one. Then 3 onwards is kind of like, I didn't mind episode 3 because it was the first episode that they went to Cybertron. The only problem is that pissed me off with that is the incredibly bad frame rate on the Cybertron background, and when it comes to the characters, the animation's actually not bad. The animation is very nice on the characters. The background backdrops is actually quite nice as well. But every time the camera pans around, like, when they get that camera look, and it pans around the characters, and it pans around what's happening in the background, everything is like that. And it's very annoying. And I hate bad frame rate. And especially Machinima and Hasbro have the money to make a very smooth series. But like I said, I don't know how much involvement they actually really had. I think Hasbro just said, wait, we're Hasbro, this is an official product. That's it, I don't know. But, yeah, I'm not a big fan of bad frame rate. I mean, if you look at shows like Beast Wars and Reboot and that back in the back in 96, 95, there was frame rate in those episodes. There was some episodes where you could tell where CG was quite early back then. Reboot was the very first all CG series ever made in history, and then Beast Wars was close second. And if you look at those 2 series, you have to accept there will be bad frame rate because it was the early days of CG. They were still developing the technology. And obviously around about that time, Toy Story came out, Pixar, and they kind of revolutionised the CG genre of movies. So if you think about it in that sense, nowadays there shouldn't be frame rate problems with special effects or CG. I know, again, yes, it's a web series, but again, come on. I think it was kind of like they put so much emphasis on the design of the characters and how they looked over the backdrop and the frame rate issues. And also the mouth. That was quite funny. I couldn't look at them and taking the series with the constant it's gonna kill me, that constantly flapping mouths that you would see in stop motion. Yeah. So basically, getting back to it now. Joking aside, yeah, okay. It had some points to it that kind of was okay, but the series itself just didn't work for me personally. And I know it's not just me, there is quite a lot of people also that didn't like this. But end of the day, this is my opinion and their opinion. There seems to be a bit of a divide here as well, because when we check in the comments under the Machinima episodes, there seems to be kind of this you might get a sarcastic comment, and then you might get someone saying it's just terrible, but then you might start getting like people saying, "I really like this series. I like what they've done," and apparently that there is going to be, because this is the Prime trilogy, so they're going to be, by the looks of it, they're going to be making the Titan Wars into part 2 of the Prime Wars. So it looks like this is going to continue on to Titan Wars or Titan Returns, whatever. Because there was like a little teaser that I found. I don't know if it was official, but it was all saying Transformers. And there was a little teaser kind of teasing you that there was going to be like a part 2 to the series. Because the way Combiner Wars finished kind of set up this anyway. But yeah, I don't know what more I can really say, is that when it comes to the latter end episodes, all these episodes was literally just on Cybertron. All the episodes from episode 3 right to episode 7 and whatever, the last episodes, was basically on Cybertron. And they end up, basically it's all about this thing called the Enigma. And the Enigma is basically this massive big like orb-like sphere thing that's encased in this case. And Rodimus, Starscream, and that female Supreme Counselor woman, I've forgotten what her name is. She's basically kind of, them three are kind of like guarding it on Cybertron. And Prime and Megatron end up kind of like teaming up with Windblade. Well, they kind of like team up with one another, and they kind of like try to destroy, or either try to destroy or try and lock the Enigma away for eternity or forever, because it's it's very, very dangerous. So that's basically the story in gist. So basically, no surprise, Starscream, long story short, Starscream ends up actually betraying everybody, as always, and he kind of like bestows the power upon him, and he can't take it. He was going to start becoming like this ultimate combiner, because obviously all the other combiners like Victorion, Menasor, and Computron got resurrected. Like, well, okay. And so on. So basically all these combiners, and then Victorion came, finally showed up, and they all kind of, they was going to kind of merge with Starscream to make this like ultimate combiner. It didn't work out. He ended up being killed in a very strange manner, kind of like through this like epiphany in Windblade's head. Windblade was kind of knocked out on the floor, and she has this epiphany, and it's kind of this voice of Metroplex in her head. And she ends up kind of having this power to kind of control Menasor's big, massive arm, and that kind of goes into killing Starscream in the end. But obviously Starscream, he can't obviously take the power, so he ends up becoming completely useless and weak, and he becomes this disembodied, glowy head that's going, "Ah!" all the time, Yeah, sometimes it was incredibly funny, but ridiculous. But it was funny, but it was ridiculously stupid. You know what I mean? In some points of the story. But I'm not giving the series a very good lineup. I'm kind of giving it a very sarcastic way, but that's all I can really talk about it. I can only talk about the series in a very sarcastic way to kind of make any sort of heads or tail about it. Because it's a series that doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make much sense. There's no development. You just kind of chucked in straight away with no real main story or structure. But the best thing from this entire series is the voice acting cast. They did a very good job, but the story, the whole development of the story and the character development was practically non-existent. The only bit of character development you had was Windblade, because you found out where she came from, and that was it. The rest of them was, well, and all you knew about Prime Megatron, they was banished, because obviously they they saw that Prime, Optimus and Megatron kind of started the massive war between the Autobots and Decepticons, and they essentially got banished from Cybertron to kind of keep the peace. But then obviously they come back. So it's kind of like, yeah, so that's that. But we'll see what's going to happen in the future. By the looks of it, they are still going to be making part 2, because obviously this is going to be a Prime trilogy. So they're going to be making all the, Combiner Wars, Titan Wars, whatever's next after Titan Wars, or Titan Returns. So, yeah, so thank you very much for watching, folks. I hope you've enjoyed. This has been my kind of insight, my 2 cents on the entirety of the Combiner Wars series and what I thought about the entire thing. So, yeah, basically, if you liked it, fine. If you don't like it, fine. I personally didn't like it. I thought it was quite a lazy job when it came to the development side. But I don't want to take my negativity of the series away from the great voice cast. They did a really, really good job at reprising that, at their individual roles. It really, the voice cast is what kind of made the series good, in one sense, but everything else completely failed. So thank you, peace, until next time.